He's still 11 seconds back. We see Kasey Kahne on pit road now, Kelly.
Yeah, they're trying to turn their season around after a string of finishes outside the top 15, including 5 DNFs, and trying to stretch it today on fuel mileage, but obviously, we've got a caution.
Caution on the racetrack. The 14 of Clint Boyer involved.
What's up, everyone?
Okay.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Incredicast podcast. This is installment number 4, the Brickyard of 400. Kasey Kahne gets it done. I'm here with DrRelientD, and I'm going to be talking about the highlights of this race, starting out with the dominance of the Toyotas.
Yeah, early on in the first 2 stages, the first half of the race, large portion of it, you just had Kyle Busch in the 18 and Martin Truex Jr. in the 78. They just dominated. Kyle Busch won stage 1 and stage 2.
And Truex,
Martin Truex
second both stages. It was just phenomenal by the Toyotas of how good they were compared to everyone else. Even their teammates, it wasn't as good as they were. They just couldn't make the same passes as Kyle could.
Yeah, the dirty air and clean air really affected every car in this race, except really for the 18 and the 78. No one could really pass anyone in the field except for those 2 guys. After that one caution where you had Blaney who took 2 tires, a few guys stayed out. Kyle Busch passed 5 cars, I believe, on the first lap, and Truex was right behind him, following him. So those 2 cars, they were in a whole entire class of their own. It seemed like no one could touch them. It
was just crazy. Like on that restart when Kyle got shuffled back a little bit, he still went all the way. I think it was top 4, top 5, and then eventually made his way back up into the lead. But then the game change that happened that changed everything was the wreck between the 18 and the 78. Happened on lap 111. It changed everything. Just to show you guys what happened, we will show you coverage from NBC. We'll show you from the restart to the wreck. 18 on the outside, 78 on the inside, getting ready to go green. Yeah, and this wreck here, it would describe the rest of the day. How the low line, if you could get into turn 1 and get clear out of turn 1, you had a great chance. That was your only chance though, because the high line would get such a great run. They do so great coming into 2 and out of 2 actually. And with the clean air, you need to clear. So you see the 78 just gets a little bit loose, fighting for position, and comes up into the 18. Nothing you could do about it. He just gets that little. Yeah, I think the 78 tried to gas it a little bit too early, just to try to get in front of the 18. Yeah, with Jeff Burton, he said it perfectly. Yeah, you know that whoever leads this first lap and gets clear of the other car is going to lead this race, is going to probably win this race, have a huge advantage. So these 2 guys were fighting hard for this position. Yeah. So you can't blame Truex at all. Yeah, you really can't. You're going for the win. You know, he's already got a win. 3 of them. Yeah. Kyle doesn't. You know, if you get that win and Kyle doesn't get the win, that helps you get another contender out of the chase. Exactly. And it's the Brickyard 400. You know, this racetrack, this race is something totally different. The history here, how this track is, what this race means to the sport, what this race means to the winners of the sport. Only the legends have won here. Only people who have big ties have won here. Yeah. So to get your name here and win here is just incredible. And that's what Martin Truex Jr. was trying to do.
trying to join the list of elites that won this race. But
there's another look here. As you see, the 78 dives down into turn 1, trying to clear the 18. Maybe gets on the gas a little bit too early. I don't know. Car just gets that little. Car gets a small wiggle.
Kurt Busch just barely makes it.
Kurt Busch misses him as the 18 comes down, and the 13 of Ty Dillon, he dove way below the apron. Look, he just gets that little wiggle. He turns up high to overcorrect it, and
that was just a racing deal right there. The stuff
comes
happens.
up into the 18. As the 18 comes down the track, you can see his older brother, Kurt Busch, just gets by, and the 13, Ty Dillon, dives all the way down the bottom.
Yeah. In the words of Kyle Petty, that's incredible.
Yep. Which, after this caution, after this wreck occurred, the entire landscape of the race had changed. You had new contenders, new fastest cars. You had new strategies to partake in with different cars. Different lengths of the race was left. But there's one thing that stayed the same, and that was the Toyotas.
Yeah.
Gibbs Toyotas of Matt Kenseth in the 20 car and Denny Hamlin in the 11. They were still extremely fast cars to beat.
Yeah.
I know that Kevin Harvick, he was up there as well.
I think he would have got the advantage over Kenseth, but Kenseth, he was doing just like Truex, but it worked. You know, gas it early and battle him really hard. Ended up getting the lead, but fuel mileage came into play, and it came into play for Kasey Kahne. Very good, as we see here, he pitted early.
Which you had Jimmy Johnson, Brad Keselowski, and Kasey Kahne. They stayed out hoping for a caution, and Kasey Kahne, he could not go anymore in that 5 car.
Yeah.
So he comes down the pit, and the same lap that he pits, huge caution comes out, huge wreck occurs between, well, you should say half the field got involved in this wreck, or changed by this wreck, really.
Yeah, half of the contenders, and see Kurt Busch there trying to get out of his car. Tight squeeze there. Gets it to a stop. Puts the steering wheel up.
This new helmet cam that NASCAR had, I applaud them for the quality of it and for the footage that it had.
Yeah. Yeah. There he goes, getting out of his car. Really tight squeeze. It collected Eric Jones as well.
Eric Jones, Clint Boyer.
Yeah.
And also Kurt Busch were the...
Just Kurt had nowhere to go, that wreck.
Jamie McMurray, he tagged someone just a little bit on the right front. As you see, a 14, he just gets loose up high, which he said after the race that it was because the 10 car of Danica Patrick was fighting with, I believe, the 27 of Paul Menard.
Yeah.
And the dirty air just got him loose. So as he came up into the wall, he just came down on the 77 of Eric Jones. And that was the first hit that the 14 had. That was really hard. I don't ever like it. As you see, Kurt Busch tries to follow the 1 of Jamie McMurray, but
there's nowhere to go. Like,
14 comes back up.
If he would have went high, he would have got hit. Went low, he would have got hit. There's nowhere to go.
Nothing you could do.
As we see it there for another time, which cautions would not end there. We had one with Kyle Larson. After that, we will show you that now.
Which right here was when the race changed, and you can see the true contenders. Kasey Kahne, who pitted at the perfect time, he stayed out because his tires were brand new, not a lap run on him.
Yeah, then you had Newman. He tried to stay on old tires to see what he could do.
He just couldn't catch up. And the 2 of Brad Keselowski here, he tries to go 3 wide in the turn 1, but he just does not have the restart that Kasey Kahne does.
He just had
in the 5.
He had a really tight car all day.
Yeah, he was complaining to Paul Wolf about that earlier in the race. They tried to fix it.
And he had Jimmy Johnson coming from the back to around top 3, which Jimmy's won a lot of races from the back. Thought that could have happened today. But Kasey Kahne gets a good run here. getting away from Brad just a little bit, but Brad catches
clean
back.
air again.
Yeah.
That clean air.
It's really hard to pass.
Not too sure if the 5 was faster than the 2, or if the 2 had a better car, but that clean air, it affects you so much.
Yeah.
That dirty air gives you so much drag, and you lose so much downforce trying to get into the corner.
Coming down to the wreck.
Exit.
And
Kasey Kahne. And then you have Ty Dillon pinches the 42.
Yeah, there's the wreck.
Of Kyle Larson all the way down on the track, and he just comes back up.
I collected Blaney, but that wasn't too much damage on the 21. And there's Larson coming to a stop with a flaming car. Lots of damage on that thing. And you see he is all right there. And another caution that happened was with the 48.
Which this was probably the greatest restart that we've seen all year, the greatest battle that we've seen all year. You have Brad Keselowski on the high line and the 2 car, Kasey Kahne on the bottom, and again, what happened with Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch, that bottom line, you need to clear the guy out of turn 1 or in turn 1. If you can't, the car on the high line is going to do so much better in turn 2, and that's what happens here.
Yeah.
As Kasey Kahne cannot clear Brad Keselowski out of 1. Kasey gets a big goes sideways. I don't know how he stayed next to the 2 car. And then Jimmy Johnson, it's a fantastic run, 3 wide going into turn 3. And there's no room for 3 anywhere at the Brickyard except the straights. Jimmy gets he gets loose a little bit, comes up into the 5, and that's all she wrote for the 48 team.
Yep. And caution comes out. And that will be the end of the 48 today. And then we have this restart that happened that caused a really long red flag.
Which this restart was filled with some controversy. Yeah. Kasey Kahne chose the high line to try and clear the 2 car out of turn 2. But if you can see, the 2 cars behind the 2 car in the bottom of Trevor Bayne and Michael McDowell, they start pushing Brad Keselowski before he's in the restart zone, which is illegal. And Denny Hamlin also pushes the 5 car on the high line before he's in the restart zone.
Yeah.
So that, by NASCAR ruling, is illegal because Kasey Kahne, as the leader, did not dictate the start. He did not go.
Yeah.
Even though NASCAR believed that he did.
Plus, that wreck happened before they even took the green, I believe. So.
Yeah.
So really, I think any changes that happened there really shouldn't have mattered, shouldn't have counted. But you see the 11 had damage towards the end, which will come into play. Just a lot of cars everywhere. You got Greg Galding, Eric Almirola, and got Austin Dillon there, got Ryan Blaney, Trevor Bayne. I think that's the majority.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney, he was pretty fast. He's pretty fast in this year's Brickyard 400. He stayed out on 2 tires on that one restart. He got some clean air, and he took off from the pack. Only Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. could really catch him.
Yeah.
Had a fantastic car. And that new paint scheme that he had for the Brickyard, that looked pretty nice.
Looked pretty nice, but unfortunately...
Blue and white and orange.
Yeah. Got Trevor Bayne just sitting there waiting.
See, if you look on the bottom, Michael McDowell, the third car in the bottom row, he pushes the 6 early, and in turn pushes the 2 car. Also, Denny Hamlin pushes Kasey Kahne, and that all occurs before they reach the restart zone. So that should be illegal.
So Blaney would have made it through. Greg Galding just, I guess he didn't know that the wreck was happening. And plowed right into him.
McDowell, he just pushes the 6 car of Trevor Bayne too much, gets him too loose, and he comes up and causes this big wreck.
Yeah. Really unfortunate for some contenders up there, but it's racing, you know.
Yeah. Trevor Bayne, he was having a great day. He was trying to stay out. If there was no caution on the front stretch with Clint Boyer and Kurt Busch and Eric Jones, there was an extremely good chance that Trevor Bayne...
Yeah. Which Ford has not won this race since 1999.
Yeah. With Dale Jarrett.
Yeah.
So, as you can see, the 6 he's getting pushed so much by the 95, just goes up. and gets turned around. In which Austin Dillon nowhere to go. Which Greg Goulding, he actually slammed into the back of the 21. I don't know why he did not brake.
Yeah, he would have avoided all of that if it was not.
The crash had already occurred, and he just kept on driving. He slammed into the rear of the 21.
I don't know how good the spotters are for like the lower funded teams. So I don't know what a spotter was telling him at that time.
As you can see, that a 95 and the 6 are both pushing the 2 before they get to the restart zone.
Yeah.
Which they pointed that out on NBC.
Which Hamlin pushes Kahne a little too much as well.
Yeah, and the 2 car believes that the 5 is going because the 11 pushes him, and so the 2 car goes.
Yeah.
But
they wasn't even at the line yet.
Yeah, they weren't even in the restart zone yet.
Yeah.
So.
Which is a scary wreck for Eric Almirola as well, after his injuries.
Yeah, the worst thing you want for your back when it's not completely healed is to get involved in another wreck. It wasn't too hard though, because it was just on a restart. He wasn't even shifting through the gears yet. Yeah, you know, he just started the restart.
You have that.
But yeah, any contact, any big collision, is not good for your back.
So I really don't think he should be back yet. I think he should just take the rest of the season off. But
yeah, he's not in the playoffs anyway this year, so he should rest up, spend time with his family right now.
I think even if he does, next year. Even if he does get a win, I don't think he's qualified to get into the chase. But yeah, Brad was considered the leader there, but this final restart
these leaders, they choose the high line because they believe that they can stay with the car on the bottom through turn 1, and they believe that they can get that run on turn 2. But Kasey Kahne needed to get the job done on this last restart, and that was exactly what he did. All out here.
Yeah.
And again, you're fighting for the Brickyard 400. This is like no other race, no other track in the world. Everyone races here from different countries and continents. Kasey Kahne gets a fantastic restart, clears Brad Keselowski on turn 1, and that is it. Which you have this wreck here that occurs. Denny Hamlin, I don't know what happened to him. He just
got way too loose.
He got loose. His car was damaged, and NASCAR, with them not having lights at the Brickyard, I agree with them waiting.
Yeah.
Because this probably would have brought out the 4th red flag of the night.
Which brings out the question: should NASCAR tracks have lights, like all of them, even if they don't run a night race? Should they all have lights?
Probably, because in our days, setting and time, you should always be there just in case. Especially how common we have today with rain delays.
Yeah, rain delay.
They had a big rain delay.
And then all those restarts happen over time, can go infinitely.
Crashes. It takes a lot of time to repair the track.
Plus, I mean, it kind of destroys good finishes.
Yeah.
Like, that was still an amazing finish, but like when a race ends under caution, it's just kind of a little bit disappointing.
Oh yeah.
In a way, there was no checker flag racing,
Yeah.
Which also, with that, the wreck happened before they crossed the overtime line, but the caution didn't come out until after. So
yeah, even though the wreck had occurred.
Which comes to the question: is there a way that they could change that to where once there is a wreck that should be a caution, then that would be where they go from? Like if there is a wreck back there and have it come across the overtime line, should that be considered a caution even if the lights aren't out? Which in this case, they kind of had to end the race.
Yeah.
Either way, it would have been over. But yeah, that's an idea for NASCAR to go into. You can't really, for sure. Can't really change anything from what we say.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
But for Kasey Kahne, that was a fantastic win.
Yeah.
He deserved that.
Plus, I don't think Kasey Kahne could have went through another restart.
Yeah. Yeah. He was massively dehydrated.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, give me some water.
I know that everyone keeps trying to talk to him, and he's sitting down on the ground like this poor guy. You know, give him something. Give him something, man. He's
his only Mountain Dew bottle fell off the car.
I know.
It's just sad, but
only his crew chief is smart enough to help him. He takes off his fire suit for him, you know, gets him cooled down, cool towel and water. But Kasey Kahne, he deserved this win. His last win was in 2014 at Atlanta.
Yeah, that was to get into the chase.
And he hasn't been into the playoffs or chase ever since, correct?
Yeah.
So for him to guarantee himself a spot into the chase, or playoffs, excuse me.
So
this was fantastic.
So now for Hendrick Motorsports, their focus has to be on Junior.
Yeah.
Kane's in, Jimmy's in, Chase is in on points currently.
Yes.
So if they can get Junior a win somehow, he's good at Pocono. You know, if they could give him the car and no wrecks happen to him, could possibly maybe gamble on fuel or something. Could happen. But I think Junior is Hendrick's focus as of now until the chase.
Yeah, and especially this is his last year.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get into the chase here last year. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
At least get a final win. You know, everyone deserves to have that final victory with your crew, knowing it's your last.
Yeah. Yeah, like Tony Stewart at Sonoma.
Yeah, and Jeff at Martinsville.
Jeff at Martinsville. Which that actually took him into the chase, that win. Jeff Gordon at Martinsville 2015.
Took him into Homestead. And the
final round. But
overall, here's Kasey's burnout. We have to show the burnouts every time. There he goes.
Fantastic burnout for someone who is massively dehydrated and running on
and hasn't done one
fumes.
for like 3 years.
Yeah, I know. That was insane.
It was just a cool burnout.
Oh yeah.
But if I was that dehydrated, I'd say I'm not doing one. I'm done. Anyways, yeah, that's all our video coverage we have as of now. But let's talk about our NASCAR news that happened of the week. Brad Keselowski signs an extension with Penske that tears down everybody's theories about him going to Haas or the 5. Which also, with Kasey Kahne winning this race, does that change Hendrick getting rid of Kasey Kahne?
Maybe. Rick Hendrick seems to be the most business-orientated owner.
Yeah.
That we currently have in the NASCAR Cup Series garage. So it's not too sure. You can't be too sure with Rick Hendrick. Your Jeff Gordons and your Jimmy Johnsons are guaranteed to stay all the time. But for a driver like Kasey Kahne, who's not bringing in the same amount of money in sales, who's not, you know, consistent with performance, not too sure. This definitely helps his case because he earned this win on all those different restarts, and especially that last restart.
Yeah. How
he did an amazing job getting in front of the two.
Beating Team Penske. There was no Tim Penske, but I don't know. It could be, but beating a Penske car for the win.
And that third to last restart where you had the 2, the 5, and the 48 3 wide.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
It was just insane racing.
Yeah. He got so loose coming out of 2, and he stayed side by side with the 2.
Yeah.
48 comes up beside him, and he does not lift going into turn 3. So, fantastic job by Kasey Kahne. I believe that he deserves that 5 car for next year, and for a couple more years to come.
If it's not the 5 car, he deserves a good ride.
Yeah, powerhouse team ride.
Yeah.
But his contract is still through for next year.
Yeah. So he's at least there for next year. So.
Yeah. But
so anyways, should we talk about Pocono?
Yeah, we're going to the Tricky Triangle now this weekend.
which Ryan Blaney won the last race here, getting the 99th win for Wood Brothers.
Yeah.
Could it be number 100?
Possible. It's very, very possible and actually probable for this team.
Which Kyle Busch made a mistake last race at Pocono by staying out, so maybe he could go for that Pocono win. He's never won Pocono before. I do think Kyle Busch will get the pole. I do think he will win at least one stage. I think Truex being the other one. And then, you know, Harvick and Blaney were strong. They could catch up to Kyle last time, so that's something too. It would be nice for Harvick to win that race too. He's never won Pocono either.
Yeah.
Which you got people to gamble to get into the chase now. Junior says he's going to start throwing Hail Marys to get into the chase.
Yeah.
No, this is not football, Dale. But he could try fuel mileage to get into the chase.
Yeah, it's very, very possible. And you got the 22 of Logano, who his win is encumbered, and he has to get a win now. He has to get a win now to advance into the playoffs, especially with Kasey Kahne now getting the win. That puts Clint Bowyer also out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, so both Clint Bowyer and Joey Logano, they are going to be driving crazy and extremely just all out now.
All aggressive.
Every race.
Everything, you know. Interesting thing is, I think there's 6 or 5 spots left in the chase, and there is 6 races left.
Yeah, so
if we get a new winner every time, that's interesting, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We've never had 16 winners. We never had a full-on chase that you just can't point race yourself in there.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, we're going to go with DrRelientD's pick first. What is your pick for this week?
I'm saying that Ford will do great again. I'm saying that Team Penske, they will build off of their top speed cars, off of their great super speedway cars. This past race at the Brickyard, I'm gonna go with Joey Logano. He needs to get another win because his first win was encumbered. He needs to get another win to get into the playoffs, and they've been getting more speed. They've been building on their speed. Not on their finishing position, as we saw sadly at the Brickyard for him, but I believe that he'll go all out. As we've seen the Ford cars again, they've been really good at Pocono.
Yeah.
This past race, Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick, they were up there in the very end. Yeah. Very good long run cars. They can make a lot of good changes during the race. They got very smart crew chiefs, know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So,
well, my pick for this week to win Pocono is, as I said earlier, the 21 will get the 100th win for Wood Brothers. So I think we're all Team Penske here today.
Yeah.
It's all affiliated with Penske and Ford. I really do believe one of us is right.
Yeah. Probably.
If we're wrong, it's because either Harvick, Kyle Busch, Truex, maybe Larson.
Yeah. Again, you always have to count in the 18, the 42, and 78. Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., and Kyle Larson. They're always going to be up there.
Yeah.
They're always going to be fighting for wins.
Yeah. That is our picks for this week. Let me go ahead and take this off of here so you can see that thumbnail once more. But yeah, I do believe some people might gamble to try to say we're wrong. You know, we saw Trevor Bayne trying to gamble last week or last time. And Kasey Kahne gambled and it worked.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. So
even for the 2 car, he wasn't running up front like any part of the day. He stays out and he gets a top 5 finish, almost winning it. So
yeah, so be on the lookout for the 21, the 22, and be on the lookout for anybody under the chase line, like Clint Bowyer, Dale Jr. Just anybody hasn't got a win yet. So should be an interesting race.
Yeah. Which one person we should talk about if we're going to talk about getting into the playoffs is AJ Allmendinger at Watkins Glen. He is fantastic on these road course races. I believe that he will go all out at the Watkins Glen because he's won there before. That's actually his only win in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series that he has. Yeah. So, you know, he's going to qualify well. He's going to race well. It just always happens on these road courses with him.
Even at Sonoma, he did pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, his car had issues this past race at Sonoma, but until that point, he was doing extremely well. He was up there fighting with you know, the top contenders of that race.
Yeah, it's a really interesting race at the Brickyard, and I think it's going to be even more interesting in Pocono.
Oh yeah.
So, tricky triangle, and I really think some gambling will be the factor.
Probably.
Yeah. See, for Pocono this week, if you don't know, qualifying and the race will be on the same day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So qualifying will be at 11:30 Sunday morning, and then they'll do the race at 3 o'clock.
Wow.
So,
which something that could play into a factor is the tire temperatures and the engine temperatures. That could come into a factor. Maybe teams that don't have the greatest engines, like your second tier, third tier teams, maybe they have issues somewhat in the race.
But it's going to be awesome, you know, get up, watch qualifying, race right on that.
Yeah,
It's going to be cool. And for the Xfinity Series, we don't really talk about that on our podcast, but that will be at Iowa again.
Mm-hmm.
So should be Saturday at 3, I believe. So if you're into that Xfinity Series, that's when that race is on. There is no Truck Series this week, so there's that. But thank you guys for watching this podcast and joining us in the stream, that one person. Don't forget, if you point out where the Kyle Petty is in the thumbnail in this video.
There's a hidden Kyle Petty in the picture.
Yeah, somewhere in there's a hidden Kyle Petty. You go in the comments below and you say, well, Kyle Petty is, you put where he is. And put hashtag Kyle Petty, that way I'll get a notification for it. And I will put you in the list, give you a shout out at the end of this, at the end of the podcast. There wasn't a winner last time. Nobody did that. Hopefully you can be the first winner of the Kyle Petty contest.
Yep, and you will have a chance to win the signed Incredicast shirt at the end of the season.
Yeah, so what I'll do is every winner will be put in the raffle every week for that. Then the very last race, Homestead, I'll take like the little raffle thing, I'll spin the wheel, and we'll announce the winner live on Incredicast.
Sweet.
Sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
And that will be signed by both
awesome.
me and DrRelientD. And if we get someone else from the podcast, it'll be signed by them too. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you at Pocono. I was going to say a final thing.
1878-42 can win any weekend.
Peace.
Peace.